25. 25. 25, yeah, think, film, believe, 25. Slick stop me, think, film, believe, 25. And I'm going to say, you know, what I've always said about some of the other videos. You need to watch these in succession, like a book. Like a book, start with 1 and go to 2 and 3, and well, you know, hey. That's what you need to do, because, you know, sometimes you're going to cut in on these videos unless you've been listening to some of the other videos. You're going to be off in la 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 la. What is this guy la la talking about, huh? That's why you need to go back there and listen to the 1 and 2 and just start it like a book. I mean, make the conviction. Make the conviction that you're going to be committed to starting to 1 and listening to 2 and to 3 and to 4. Yes. And then one day you will find that you'll just be all full of all kinds of good things that are going to, inspire you, hopefully. So, anyway, where were we, class? Let's start at the beginning. No, I want to do a little bit of continuation of what I was talking about the last time. Do you mind? Sure, I'm going to talk about something that just happened recently. I was on, sometimes I think the dreaded Facebook. It can waste so much of your time, but then you see some things that make you laugh, and I don't know, and you learn things too, I suppose. And you're learning things too, so but anyway, so I'm on Facebook, and there's this exchange with some brothers. There's some exchange with some brothers that I went to high school with, you understand? I mean, they're not my real brothers, but they're just brothers, you know, some of the dudes that I went to high school with, you know? And you know, a lot of my friends, you know, they were, you know, graduated from high school, you know, did the traditional thing, kind of like my parents did, you know, got married in your 20s and got married in your 20s, had kids in your 20s, and, you know, following the same path that everybody else has taken over the years, you know, that you have kids when you're young, you raise them, you get to be 50, they're graduating from college or going, you know, whatever it is, or going into college, whatever. And, you know, and then you're 60, and then you're gonna go now. So anyway, one of these guys, one of my friends, one of these dudes, he had kids. You know, he's messing around, had him an oopsie, had him an oopsie daughter, and anyways, and that's generally how they usually happen the first times. Oopsie, but you know, started having kids in his 20s, and you know, and of course now that he's older, now that he's the same, we're the same age, these guys that had kids when they were in their 20s are young in their 20s, and they're having boyfriends and getting married and having kids too. So they're like, so these guys are already grandpas, and it's like, and one of them, I know, this just really got under, just got under my skin, because I'm just not going to be like everybody else. I refuse to be like everybody else. I'm going to be different. Yeah, different. And he goes, and he goes to one of my other friends. So he's like, his daughter from his first marriage is just now had a baby or something. And then my friend, that, you know, his daughter's grandchild just turned 2. Woohoo. You know, I'm like, and my daughter right now is, you know, she's 12, you know, and I do have an older son. But I can't fathom having grandkids right now, but, you know, because I'd be like, but, you know, one of the things he said, he goes to my friend, how did we get so old? I mean, it's like, how did we get so old? You know, and I just want to go, you know, I mean, really, you're thinking, feeling, and believing about being old, and you're only in your, you know, you're barely into your 50s, you know, and how did you think, feel, and believe you're so old, you know, and how do we get so old? One time I went to a high school reunion, and this was even a few years back, and I'm talking to this guy, and I grew up with him ever since kindergarten. And I'm talking to him, his name's Ron, and he's talking like this, and I'm talking to him, he's like,
Oh, oh. I'm like, he's talking like an old man. I mean, I'm like, what the yuck. So, it's like they're already conditioned into what their parents did and what their parents did, and they're following this order of what they're doing, and I mean, to tell you, I'm like right now, since I've had a pretty good experience with having kids and raising them and stuff like that. And in my opinion, kids are the God's greatest blessing that you could ever have in your life. And they are. I mean, their work and everything, but wow. Amazing experience to having to raise kids and whatnot. It's awesome, man. And I want to have more, So right now, and I'm on that path. I'm getting there. I want to marry a young lady, and I'm going to have more children. I'm thinking about, here I am, the same age as these guys. They're like, how do we get so old? Old. And I'm going to live to be 120. So, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing, because I choose to think, feel, and believe differently about life and age and people and everything else. Everything else, you see, everything else. I choose to think, feel, and believe differently. And because I think, feel, and believe differently, I know that, they say that kids make you young, right? They say kids make you young. And it's not like I feel like I want to push things into my life like I've reached some sort of crisis or something. I just know that I've got a lot of more gumption and vigor and room to accomplish more things in life. I'm looking at some of these guys, like I was looking at the other day. Rod Stewart has a son that's like 7. I don't know how old Rod is. I don't care. Mel Gibson either just had or just had another kid. And I think, wow, how cool. And Alec Baldwin's, he's on his 4th one, or they had him, or whatever it is, and these guys are, I think sometimes now is really the time to have. Why do grandparents enjoy grandkids so much? Because when you get older and you've had some experience and you go through all these things, you're not so freaked out about kids anymore. So that's why I think you enjoy grandkids anymore. And some of the sons of out there would say, oh, well, but they don't have to stay at my house. Yeah, those people that have that kind of attitude towards kids, I don't know. It's a pretty harsh thing to say, but you didn't deserve to have any in the first place if that's the way you feel. Okay? That's just my opinion. I'm going to stick to my opinion. So because kids to me are not a burden. A life to teach and to enrich. And actually, it's my children's lives that have inspired me to want to have more kids. And if everything goes good, I think I'd like to have maybe 4 more. I don't know, but I'm capable. And when I marry a younger woman, because I'm thinking, feeling, and believe different about that too, I'm not going to do what everybody else is doing. I'm going to be different. I'm going to think, feel, and believe different, and everybody else can just go. I don't care what everybody else thinks. No, because I'm going to live my life. And that's what you need to do too. Quit listening and going with the status flow of what everybody else wants to think, feel, and believe about things. Because, if truth to be told, it seems like most of the people out there are unhappy anyways. So, so maybe we should try to, have some open minds and think, feel, and believe differently about things and take ourselves in different directions with our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Well, because you see, that's how your life can be guided, is with your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Because whatever you think about, whatever you feel about is what will manifest in your life, you see. So in a constant and persistent feelings, the constant and persistent thinking, it's the thoughts that start first. It's the thoughts that transmit and turn into feeling. And you need to be in conjunction with those two, the thoughts and the feelings and the beliefs. And then the thoughts and the feelings and belief. Then the thoughts and the feelings, and then they create the belief. The thoughts and the feelings, and then they create the belief. And when you've got that, you'll perpetuate those things in your life. And age can be one of those things. So if you're a young buck, if you're a little young buck, start thinking, feeling, believing about that stuff now. Don't accept age. Be an anarchist against age. Because you don't need to think about, oh, we're so old.